Hey guys, and welcome to the status report highlight for the 12th of November 2015. And this week we'll have info on subjects such as the renderer, the UI, damage, and animation systems, all served by our lead producer Brian Hicks, lead designer Peter Nesbesny, and lead animator Victor Kostik. If you don't happen to follow the Twitter or the forums, you may not be aware of the current focus on iteration upon 059 Experimental. Obviously, the team is working hard to resolve the issues with server-side performance, as well as pushing several new potential changes to vehicle position sync to QA. So the big question everyone wants to know, when will 059 move to stable? Once we are satisfied with the server-side performance at maximum player count versus 12-hour uptime, vehicle position sync is at a marked improvement over 058, high reproducible server and client crashes are resolved. Past 059 internally, we are hoping to be able to get another update prior to Christmas, to experimental at the very least. However, that will depend on the stability of the build post 059 stable and the merges done right after that. As mentioned during the PAX Australia The Road to Beta presentation, we'll keep everyone updated on this progress via the official Twitter account, and the status reports between then and now. Keep in mind the update of 059 to stable will include a full Hive and server storage reset. This includes private shards of the Hive. Moving past discussion around 059 Experimental, let's move on to discussing what the current status of some of the major engine-side updates are. Renderer tasks completed within October, multiple cascade shadow maps, updated rain post-processing, updated HDR and glow, and the current focus, finalizing post-processing and multi-thread optimization. Next up, small bodies of water and ocean rendering, and true sky rendering. We have some screenshots from debug that we can discuss in a little more detail as well. Please take care to understand these are from debug machines, and are thus running low resolution overall configurations and are meant to display technical tests. In this screenshot we can see improved cooperation between the HDR and glow effects. In these screenshots we can see fog improve with proper height base. In this screenshot in the distance we can see aerial perspective fog, with the additional effect of light scattering. Here we see an early iteration of improved dynamic range, hopefully allowing us different light levels between interiors and exteriors. And these screenshots show the current iteration of updates done to rain, which should allow a more rich and believable downpour situation. Pairing potentially with fog, this will greatly impact visibility during adverse weather conditions. Moving on to the animation systems and player controller. The animation system and new player controller both are major elements of DayZ's engine that are in progress. The new actions done in Enforce script cannot enter experimental testing until the animation system fully supports all of the necessary functions from the legacy animation system. Hicks knows he's gone on and on about the total rewrite of actions in-game being a massive change to how DayZ plays, and he hates to sound like a broken record. However, he personally cannot state this enough. The change from the clunky old-fashioned method used by DayZ, DayZ Mod, Arma 3 and Arma 2 and so on to a new and more dynamic system will change a hell of a lot more than how you eat a bag of rice or pick apples. He genuinely believes this will be one of the most massive changes to DayZ gameplay and completely redefine how the title is experienced. That said, while we're all desperate to see this in the hands of consumers before the holiday break, a more reliable estimate, playing it safe and assuming we'll encounter critical bugs and blockers once this is merged into the main testing branch, would be to expect it early in the beginning of the new year. Moving on to the damage system. Currently in the hands of the gameplay programmers, once this is completed on their end, it will need to be fully configured on the side of the design team. That said, with this we're looking at a hopeful target of mid to late January before we see it move over to the player testable branches, between the new damage system and the new player controller, and of course a complete rewrite of player actions within Enforce script. We're hoping to squash some of our major gameplay exploit level issues, like duping, spamming action abuse, glitching into structures, changing an ammo type to explosions, and so on. Keep in mind that these will more than likely cause their own issues, which will be addressed as they come up, and into the beta phase of DayZ development. Lastly from Hicks for this status report, a little sneak peek at some design and art level pieces. We have some of the required parts for helicopters. I'll give you guys a couple of seconds on each picture to take it all in. Control unit. Electrical wires. Hydraulic hoses. Pitch link. And rear rotor blade. Items that are not pictured are the igniter plug, battery, aviator fuel, motor oil, hydraulic fluid, and transmission oil. Questions, suggestions? Make sure to head over to the official DayZ forums and join in on the status report discussion thread for this week. Now let's move on to lead designer Peter Nesbesny. Our new interface should be part of our new beta release, with the aim to improve the current user experience. We have added several more features to the UI system recently, which allow us to streamline the process, leading to the new user interface and help future modders as well. Also, there are some changes for the players which will make life easier, like automatic aspect ratio taken from the current resolution or dynamic repositioning and scaling of interface elements. Also, a significant raise of client FPS with the new UI system is a thing which shouldn't be omitted. Inventory is one of the most important screens, not only because players spend most of their interface time right here, but mainly for managing everyone's little treasures. This screen should be slick, easy to read and navigate, as well as its functional design that shouldn't interfere with the intentions of game design. You have seen the concept art mockup of the new inventory screen already, and we are currently refining its proportions, layout, and functionalities to make it best as possible. From the game mechanics point of view, the new inventory is still missing a few things. While a solid foundation of the rewritten inventory system is already in game, now is the time to build upon it and add features which enrich possibilities and gameplay. First, Peter wants to mention a small but an important one, which opens doors for others and makes them more useful and interesting. A higher granularity of slots, leading to much more scalability of item size and cargo sizes. No more precious space used by matchboxes, batteries, pens, and other small items. Combination of smaller and thinner items with bigger ones can lead to unused gaps in inventory space, and that's the moment when ability of rotating items kicks in and saves the day. Hand in hand with rotation and more smaller slots per row, cargo sizes can be changed to horizontal orientation to show more rows of inventory, which leads to less vertical scrolling while managing it. Now you are probably excited as you started to imagine how much stuff you'll probably be able to cram in your backpack, especially guns. For that reason, Peter would like to see a dynamic change of an item's size, where factors like number of attachments and their sizes define current item size in inventories. In other words, you can carry stripped down AKs and all of its attachments in the backpack, with a trade-off of its readiness for combat. As Peter can tell our excitement is at the maximum level possible, he feels it's a good time to water it down a bit. Damaged state of cargo will be projected into ripped unusable slots, which has the meaning for maintenance and taking care of your backpack and clothes, apart from damaged visuals. Also, linking slots into groups within one cargo space to create virtual pockets adds a cherry on top of the inventory management and underline the hardcore nature of DayZ. It must be said that our design requirements for new inventory systems brought also other features to the game that affect gameplay directly. One of the most annoying limitations of the former inventory system was definitely the hand slot, which acted like a mirror of the cargo space equipped on character. While you had some inventory, it somehow worked, apart from very annoying behavior and tendencies to break and mess with user actions in general. However, while you hadn't any inventory slots which could be mirrored as a hand slot to fool the player, things went downhill. Thus, there come to live virtual cargo space, with different rules as normal cargo space as a resolution of this problem. You know the outcome of it: inconsistencies, prone to duping, strange and sometimes unexpected behavior, and Peter is glad that the hand slot is equal to others. Peter also finds some of us being a bit restless with such a change, but he can clearly see where it's coming from. While he admits it was very convenient with old mirrored hands not to care about hand slots in regards of inventory capacity, at all it leads to a side effect, like lowering inventory space by the size of item in hands. Requirement for awareness of how much inventory space you have left, and what you are carrying openly in hands provides space for the fast decisions, making which ensures interesting situations. Of course, dropping something from the hands needs to be clearly visualized as animation, so you don't realize too late that you left that needed item somewhere beyond. Another game changer is the ability to simulate items placed in the inventory, which wasn't possible before, as items were asleep in such state. Now a flashlight is draining battery if you don't turn it off, smoke grenade is releasing its smoke after activation, and a frag grenade happily counting down when it was unpinned before. We were also able to modify quickbar behavior as well. Now having better clothes with more inventory space equipped gives you more quick slots to use. This feature, in combination with chambering and reloading from quick slots, will raise demand for high tier clothes, as they will have other practical utilization apart from more inventory space. Second very important screen is HUD overlay, which, as you notice with the latest 059 experimental, we started to implement. However, this is a completely different story to tell, but Peter can assure you it will be possible to toggle on demand, so it will not occlude your view if you're looking for maximum immersion. We'll talk more about this in an upcoming status report. And finally, a few words from lead animator, Victor Kostic. The animation team continues working on the player character on the new animation system and has just recently started work on the injured animations. The wounded characters will have more types of animations. We would like to have visualized an injury like, for instance, a broken arm or leg. With this type of injury, a limited movement set and user action set will be provided. In the past, we have already started on the implementation that we had to stop, as we were not able to deliver the experience we were aiming for. As the new animation system is closer and is already offering us some fancy options, it is the right time to continue on this type of feature. Except the limited usage of different items, a limited movement set will be available depending on the injury. We would like to achieve this by using additive animations, blending of multiple animations, using animation sets to easily switch and complete sets of animations inside the animation graph, and other sophisticated and cool features of the new animation system. This is a very cool part of the gameplay, so we will need a lot of iteration and testing to find out a proper setup, so it is challenging and not frustrating at the same time. And as always, we have a little bit extra from lead artist Chris Torchia on the new M249 Para, work in progress. A true LMG with a beast of a box mag. It fires 5.56 by 45mm rounds at 800 rounds per minute, but it's quite bulky and heavy. Not really something you want to ramble around on your own, but it's a great squad support weapon. And before you get your panties in a bunch because it's not a PK, just be patient. And that's all folks for this week's status report highlight. As always, I recommend reading the status reports in full for yourselves for the most amount of information that they hold. All links will be in the description, as well as for DayZ TV for your latest DayZ news and information. And I'll see you peeps next time.